The 12 key features of a school that is well organised for the inclusion of children affected by migration. Unhappy and frightened children have a reduced capacity for learning. Schools where children feel welcome, safe, secure and appreciated actively create a climate for learning which results in happy, committed and motivated students. We call this convivencia, a sense of belonging and inclusion within a school community. Following research, the ICAM programme has identified key elements in school organisation that combined to build convivencia in a learning community, ranging from whole school improvement strategies and leadership development to specific approaches aimed at improving support for children affected by migration and their families. This film gives a short introduction to each of these 12 key features. The 10.5 million European children affected by migration may be refugees, social or economic migrants, or children left behind by parents migrating for work. Whatever their background, all children affected by migration have been affected by separation in some form and to some degree. So every child affected by migration has had a different life experience, a different upbringing, some more traumatic than others. Every child will be affected in a different way. It is important for teaching professionals to acknowledge this, not to prejudge, but to listen, empathise and understand. It is also important to recognise the social and emotional challenges facing children affected by migration and their families as they settle into a new country and culture. Schools are very busy places and no one can do everything. The process of planning to improve the inclusion of children affected by migration is similar to the process of introducing any new initiative or refining existing practice. A comprehensive online review tool is available to begin the process to support time-saving data gathering, focused action planning and meaningful evaluation, enabling a cycle of continuous school improvement. Applying and using the whole school review tool to drive the improvement cycle is fully described in the training programs. Linking new ideas and new thinking to existing school practice is the stuff of outstanding leadership and management, whatever the initiative. When creating the vision of convivencia supported by shared values, it must be informed by the voice of all stakeholders within the school community. New or developing policies must link to existing ones. At this point, it is important to note that this programme does not purposefully cover language development. It is a critical aspect of supporting children affected by migration, but it is covered in depth in many other programmes and initiatives. We do not seek to duplicate these resources. Instead, we concentrate on creating a social and emotional context in which learning will thrive, including language development. We encourage head teachers to identify staff within their communities who already demonstrate the skills of working with vulnerable and disadvantaged children and young people. Then bring them forward by developing their capacity for leadership and change management. We embrace the coaching approach to leadership development so that they can support colleagues by leading from the middle. However, senior leadership also plays a critical role in modelling convivencia through everyday interactions with staff, students and families. It is important to establish a procedure for welcoming all new students into a school community and to establish a climate of convivencia from the outset. Points of transition are critically important in a child's life, and the process of induction should therefore be particularly responsive to the needs of children affected by migration. But all children and families will benefit from systems and practice that seek to understand individual needs and build positive relationships. One example of this is the identification of a key adult or key worker that individual children and their families can turn to for help and support. Children affected by migration bring opportunities for all members of the school community to celebrate diversity, whilst creating convivencia through mutual respect, acceptance and understanding of the experiences and values of others. Like all vulnerable groups of children, learners affected by migration need care, protection, and an extra layer of vigilance for signs of bullying, abuse, neglect, or social isolation. The encouragement of the development of pro-social behaviours should be a community aim. This is particularly the case following the rise in misuse and abuse of social media, leading to the increase in cyberbullying and other damaging online behaviours. Children affected by migration suffer from online abuse more than other children, and consequently the ICAM programme has developed a range of responses for schools in a comprehensive addition to the ICAM portfolio, the Be Cyber Safe and Responsible programme. The United Nations has identified social and emotional learning as one of the 7 pillars of a world curriculum. Building a strong, inclusive school climate requires commitment from all involved in a school-wide practice that strengthens relationships for learning between students and teachers, students and students, and teachers and teachers. It requires the development of social and emotional skills. Some of these skills can be taught explicitly within an appropriate curriculum. However, other skills are assimilated by students as they observe their peers and their teachers behave, and as they experience the effects of school ethos and environment rich in convivencia. Evidence suggests that 75% of social and emotional learning is caught rather than taught in school communities, illustrating the power and impact of convivencia. There will be some children affected by migration who have additional social and emotional learning needs, and it is necessary to make the additional provision for them to build the learning that they do along with all students in their class. Their parents and carers will also need additional help to develop their understanding, social and emotional learning skills, and to understand what their children are learning in school, and to continue the social and emotional learning at home. The programme contains detailed small group workshops for children and their families to support this work. If staff are to work closely with children affected by migration and ensure their full inclusion in the school, they need support and professional development, time to consider the issues involved and agree solutions to problems. It is essential that they are fully involved in the development of the programme, its planning, its implementation and review. Supporting the learning of children affected by migration can be very demanding for the staff who teach them. The schools need to take provision for ensuring that these hard-working staff are cared for, appreciated, and that their well-being is looked after, as well as the well-being of the children in their care. Let us never underestimate the capacity for children to help themselves. Children will be very aware of the effort schools make to become more inclusive and respecting of the rights of the child. Through peer support and actively demonstrating pro-social skills, they have a key role in supporting and strengthening convivencia. The ICAM programme helps schools by sharing good practice, enabling children to take a full role in leading whole school development. The importance of establishing effective, open, meaningful partnerships with parents and carers cannot be stressed enough. A comprehensive bank of workshop resources are available to adapt and adopt, helping parents and carers play a more active role in supporting their child's learning, especially their social and emotional well-being, given the disruption to relationships caused by migration. Finally, schools cannot be expected to work alone to include children affected by migration in society. They have a key role to play, but they cannot be expected to cope single-handedly with the consequences of more general tensions and social problems arising from changes in the wider community in which they are part. Links with local, national and international communities can add valuable support and enrich the education offered by the school. We said at the start that schools are very busy places and no one can do everything. But by using our review tool, schools can quickly identify what they do well and strengthen practice, but also see where improvement needs to take place and then take action. We hope your school community benefits from the ICAM programme and that your staff, children and their families grow and thrive. Convivencia.